Mike Stutt is our center official, who will be playing Sunday, noon Eastern on ESPNU for a title. The next 90 minutes or more will tell us. And Gage Guerra, little quick out of the box. Damon Barker-John forces a turnover almost early here. To the feet of Axel Alejandre and back to Josh Jones. Alex Svetnov playing out the back. So Devin, when you have a game like this, hold on, it's like Barker-John, when he's going forward, he can be dangerous. Second team all ACC this year now. Quentin Elliott pushed off the ball by Silla. Devin, when two teams have played recently, 5 weeks ago, and Clemson won that game, but there's been so many changes in terms of how Louisville plays and also how Clemson has played. They've had a lot of injuries too. What is the mindset for each team going into this game?
Well, the biggest one is going to be, there's really not much to take away from it except for bragging rights, but people forget sporting merit is everything. So bragging rights are going to come in, that emotion utilized to, hey, we took these guys down before, let's make them understand that that wasn't a one-off. And for Louisville, they're going to say, hey, there's a little asterisk next to that because we didn't have our striker. We weren't at our best. We were dropping goals left and right. That's not the case anymore. More importantly, don't let that emotion override you, though, because to quote John Michael Hayden about what it's like against this Clemson team, they're really freaking good at historic Riggs Field. And it's that simple. This place is magical. If you give them any sort of inch, they're going to take a mile. They will run with it and never look back, leaving you in the dust.
Under Mike Noonan, Clemson Tigers 108, 36, and 17 here at historic Riggs Field. Top 5 again in the nation in attendance. You see a good crowd here on hand. Arthur Duquesne, the freshman from Amiens, France, to throw it in. Bradley Sample of the ball, looking long. Gets it up to Guerra. He's got a couple runners in the box. Plays it in low, but Pop Marboy, the freshman from Senegal, all freshman team in the conference now, intercepts and gets it forward.
How lucky are we, by the way? We said that Gage Guerra was unavailable last time out. Well, so was Pop Marboy. I mean, this is a kid who, in general, when we've seen him go one-on-one versus some of the best strikers in the land, he shut him down. Talked about that matchup versus Rold Mitchell, not an issue, right? And that's one of the guys who everybody looked around in ACC play in Wake Forest that could be an heir apparent at the professional level. Well, Gage Guerra is going to get an opportunity tonight. And the real question for Gage Guerra is going to be, how do you drag that center back out of those central locations? Pop Marboy, positioning-wise, understands when to go, when to stay. Guerra's got to pull him out of there to allow the players up underneath like Saunders Road to take his place and capitalize in the space.
Remy Okunlola, the freshman, trying to drive into the box. One of 2 freshmen in the starting 11 for Clemson. Alex Svetnov, the keeper, the sophomore from Indianapolis. Didn't expect to be the #1. Ryan Troutman was supposed to be that for Louisville, but one of the key injuries to this team, but Svetnov's been good. Leads the ACC in saves. Corner whipped in, back post. Headed out, but Chifamba wins the foot race. Blasted back to Joseph Ndema, the sophomore from Ghana, second year as a starter for Mike Noonan now after taking the gloves about 4-week season last year. Good switch out to Sam Meinhardt, looking to get in. He cuts it back, driven but deflected by big Josh Jones. Meinhardt, the transfer from Tulsa, former American Athletic Conference Player of the Year, number 15 in orange, middle of your screen there. Transferred over this year, he's got 7 goals on the campaign. Jaron Gibet to play it in. Punched by Svetnov. Kind of clipped back in there by Okunlola. I think it took a deflection. It did. 3rd corner of the match already. Clemson putting the Cards under pressure.
They don't give you the ability whatsoever to get organized in these situations. So difficult to handle where 5 minutes in, a barrage of battering rams just immediately up on you. You're pinned deep. Communication, hard to hear each other.
Curled in, Svetnov punches out. Svetnov walks over to get the ball, and Mike Stutt John Michael Hayden, the coach for the Cards, as Adam Lundegaard, excuse me, it's a little talking to from Mike Stutt. John Michael Hayden had an outstanding career as a player, two-time national champ as a player at Indiana, first-round draft pick to MLS, Houston Dynamo, trying to lead the Cards to a third straight NCAA tournament, but first and foremost, he wants to win an ACC championship. They did that in 2018. That's hoof forward. Gael Gibert. Thank you, Joe. Brought it to us in a really good spot. Arthur Duquesne driving into the box, cut back, and headed off the line. Welcome to Clemson, South Carolina, historic Riggs Field outside Devon. The 9-4 matchup winner gets North Carolina Sunday at noon on ESPNU for an ACC men's soccer championship. Welcome to the big stage. Finishes the goal of the season, and none at a bigger time.
Just unrelenting at the start of this match. 7 minutes in, recirculation off a dead ball, and just all the space that opens up at the top of the box. Glory given to Sonderode for all the work done off the ball, but he get absolutely played like a fiddle in this one. The freshman, Okunlola, just drops the shoulder, quick little pivot back to the inside, catches the momentum of Sonderode one way, cuts it back the other, and then just allows the body to come back across the ball. Alex Svetnov, cup of tea, paint a picture, can do nothing about this ball. Stings the back of the net for the early lead.
And we're back the other way quickly as Tavion had the first attempt really for the Cards right off the kickoff, but he is down. You don't want to see that if you're John Michael Hayden, a Cardinal fan. He was a sophomore from Queens, having a great campaign. Pop Marboy, the freshman. These are two all-league players. Marboy just crowned ACC all-freshman team and ACC third team. And Barker Jom on the second team has had a breakout campaign, 9 goals on the season, 4 goals, 2 assists just the last 7 games as they've dealt with injuries, but he has really stepped up. See what happened quickly off the kickoff.
We just headed down into the corner. The ankle is one thing to keep an eye on for Pop Marboy. Mentioned when he's healthy, he's one of the best in the country, freshman or not. Just gets caught up underneath him. Actually turned it in the Wake Forest game that prohibited him from appearing in every fixture this season. And Damian Barker-John, he's got a couple of things to deal with as he goes down to the ground here. The hard knock on the pitch itself, a bit of a coming to with Pop Marboy, and it looked like his studs got caught as well, but both back up and moving.
Pop Marboy, freshman from Senegal. Barker-John, the sophomore from Queens, New York. Came to the Queensboro FC Academy, spent a little time at NYCFC as well. And as we mentioned already, having a breakout season. Pop Mar has burst onto the scene as well, but those injuries kind of slowed him down, but he's been good since he's been back in the lineup And he actually returned to the lineup in the Louisville match these teams played back on October 6th. Mike Stutt just clarifying stuff, our center official, and get back underway. And Boyd will be allowed back on the pitch, as will Barker John here in a few. Quentin Elliott looking for the long throw. Sophomore from West Virginia. Looking for the big 6'5" target of Josh Jones, number 16 in black. These two teams both played absolute epics to get to this point. And Louisville, they had an NCAA tournament resume that wasn't enough. It wasn't going to make the cut when they entered this tournament a week ago. They beat Pitt in double overtime. It was a top 25 RPI win, top 20 at the time. Looking long. Tyler Trimmel trying to run it down. And then they beat Notre Dame on Notre Dame's field, who at the time was #1 in the RPI, cementing their resume. But Devin, we did that game. It was 3-0. Sonder Road, that man in black, 46 right there, had a hat trick. Second time that's happened in ACC Men's Soccer Championship history. And an assist in what ended up being a 4-3 thriller if they were up 3-0. And Clemson 3-3 into overtime, won in penalties against Duke 4-1. Both these teams, needless to say, have earned their spot to be here by two thrilling matches. And this one has started somewhat similarly with a 1-0 lead for the Tigers.
You go tell both of those coaches they were thrillers. I bet you they're going to point another direction about, you know, they had all these fans on the sideline saying it's an instant classic, and everybody's response was the same. Yeah, for you guys it was. I'm the one sitting on the sideline, nerves going up and down, dealing with all the emotional swings. But listen, that's what the sport's all about, right? And it is pretty crazy how 7 days ago you're looking at a Louisville squad that could have been on the outside looking in, pending the game against Wake Forest. They draw that match. They win their opener against Pitt. Well, now all of a sudden, they've got a pretty nice resume that includes the win over the #1 team in ACC play, #2 RPI. You take down Clemson, and since we've seen North Carolina move to the final, you take down North Carolina, you're not talking about making the NCAA tournament, Dallin, and the possibility of getting into the top 16. If Louisville run the table, you're having a real conversation about a team that could have just worked themselves into one of the top 4 spots.
Which would be wild. We'll come back in a second. Gage Guerra, their talisman, plays a good ball in, but Boy is there and clears it out. Gage Guerra again, 6 goals in 5 games to start the season. Injuries slowed down his campaign. Good ball to Elliott, just a little too much on it. And John Michael Hayden has had to deal with a ton of injuries across all different lines of play this year in his 5th season as the Louisville head coach. He was a 2-time NCAA champion at Indiana. Knows what it takes not just to get there, but to win the whole thing and to win his conference as well. But wants to get Louisville to that point. He was part of this group in 2018 as an assistant that won the ACC championship. That's the last time they have been there. And they want to get themselves back to this spot. But to do that, they got to overcome a 1-0 deficit early on the road. Boy out wide to Arthur Duquesne. Elton Chief Famba riding the challenge and gets the call. Mike Noonan and his crew loving the support you get at historic Riggs Field. Top 5 in the nation in attendance again here. Ball rolled to the feet of Bradley Sample. His 88th game in a Louisville jersey. 83rd start, 13 in black in the middle of the pitch. On the ball now. David Bacuzzo head up, looking for the switch to Quinn Elliott. Mike Noonan looking to get the team back to the ACC final. They got there last year. They lost to Cuse 2-0. They won this tournament in 2020. They won the national tournament in 2021. He's had tremendous success here in his 14th year now at Clemson. And that 2014 ACC title, the first one he injured, was over this Louisville team in an absolute thriller that had a last-second goal to put them into OT, and they won in overtime. Quentin Elliott off the foot of Svetnov, and Joseph Endema, the sophomore from Ghana, on the ball. Devin, it's still early, but I mean, Louisville was playing a different system when they played Clemson and lost 4-0. They obviously suffered a red card in that game as well. They were playing a 3-back. Now they're playing a 4-back. Well, what have you seen from this tactical shift a little bit early on in this match?
Well, the idea behind it is you're going to take your midfield 4 and try and move them side to side and really unbalance Clemson centrally. The reason being is the front 3 stay quite separated. Now, Trimnell and Meinhardt will come back and work a little bit. Usman still is given the freedom to roam, so that opens up a lot of space on the inside. You just create a numbers game. But within that, you lose some width. So that puts more pressure on Quentin Elliott and Parker Forbes. And so far, just 13 minutes in, they haven't been able to get the width just right. Now, some of that is just balls spraying to the outside. The good news is there's actually a pretty decent fluctuation between the midfield 4. Dropping into 2, they box it, they triangulate. The biggest thing's going to be, though, maintaining the width overall, because that's where Clemson really get you. If you can't unshape them in that area, you've got a real problem.
Falls, shot, deflect, just wide past Endema's goal, out for a goal kick.
And the other side of that is coming back from what was an epic drop the other night against Notre Dame when you're up 3-0, cruising. And he said, the guys they switched off a little bit. They stopped searching for solutions, and players do that. But set pieces, emotions, dead balls, momentum, all of that is really what John Michael Hayden feels that is best for his team, the momentum swings that allow his team to really become the aggressors in games. And so, yeah, they're down 1-0, but they don't feel fazed by it. They've seen the emotion of this stadium before. He likes the group. Feels like it's the best and deepest that he's ever had. And when they're bought in together, they can beat anyone in the country.
And they put together a schedule to do that. They beat Tulsa, UNCG, and Kentucky in the first 2 weeks of the season. Those were all ranked wins at the time. Kentucky's got it going again, but here's Remy Okolola, the goal scorer, trying to cut it back. Gets up across, but it's deflected, goes out for the 4th corner of the match for the Tigers.
And nobody imagined that Tulsa team was going to be 126th in the RPI, and UNCG in the mid-80s, if I'm not mistaken. Those are teams that everybody thought were going to be battling once again, and you can't do anything about that. You just got to control the controllables, and mid-season they struggled, but they finally starting to make their way back. I feel like they are definitely in control of their destiny now.
And Mike Stutz saw a push by Pop Marboy in the box that'll just negate that corner. Talk to coaches. It's about a 50-50 split in this league. Is it harder to win the ACC tournament or the NCAA tournament? And you see why. The parity within this league this year was evident. It's evident by North Carolina's 7th seed getting the final. But the last 6 years, every year has been a different tournament champion. Wake Forest repeated in 16 to 17, and since then, it's been pretty wide open.
And Dallin, it's easy enough for us to say that not just our comments and seeing everybody around the league, but having the opportunity to talk to all these coaches and discuss with players firsthand. This is really the first year that in the ACC, we haven't had 1 or 2 just runaway teams that you looked at and said, you know what, that team's going to go win a title. They can go win a national championship. And that's not for lack of trying. Everybody is just, they've brought their level up even higher. And even more so, it's not even necessarily that the ceiling has started to take monumentous steps. It's the fact that the basement has come up higher. So guys coming off the bench, what might have been a team that was 14 players, 15 players deep, you're looking at squad 20 players deep now. So in times of injury, when Clemson was dealing with it, when Louisville was dealing with it, maybe they weren't at their best, but by no means was it drop-offs that we saw in previous years.
Come back to that 1 second. Alex Meinhardt on it. Plays it back to Jeron Gibet, transfer from Oregon State. Out wide to Arthur Duquesne, and back to Usman Silla, now a 2-time first-team All-ACC player for 10 in orange. The awards being released today. We'll go through that at halftime with the Player of the Year awards and different categories. Gael Gibert, another transfer from Oregon State. Looking for the big switch, doesn't come off. But Devin, to your point, I mean, Nathan Richmond and Brandon Parrish are all ACC players. They're both on the sidelines and most likely not available for Mike Noonan today. And not that you wouldn't notice it, but Tyler Trimnell did have a brace last game. Yeah, number 17 in orange comes off with 2 goals scored, only his second career start in a huge game. So they've got talent, they've got depth, and then they augmented the great recruiting that Mike Noonan has done with some great transfers. We mentioned the 2 from Oregon State, the 2 Frenchmen. And Gibet is actually 3rd-team All-ACC. Alex Meinhard was Offensive Player of the Year at Tulsa last year in the conference, the American Athletic Conference. Jackson Roble from Wofford has done great things, and we showed you he had the game-winning penalty in penalties against this last game, get them to this point. He didn't touch a ball all day, Devin, and walked out there with a critical penalty to end the game. How hard is that to do? He did not play in the match, and then he iced the game with the PK.
That's insane. Back in the day, I would have been spiteful, saying, no, you go out there and hate that yourself. You don't want to put me in? I'm not walking out there 12 yards out to go and win this for you.
But you're going to pull Tony Kukoc? I'm not going in.
Oh,
Scottie Pippen, I'm not going to play. I'm not going to play.
But again, there's the depth, though, right? Jackson Roble, 1st-team SoCon, coming out of Wofford, right? The incredible ability of these young men. Enrique Montana, the outside back that's been hurt, and he's starting to work his way in. They got the freshman phenom Marco Garcia, a guy who could have gone pro, tore his ACL 2 days before preseason. Team runs wicked deep.
Almost fell into the path of I think that was Bakuzo. Early ball played in, headed down, and he's back. Gage Guerra, he's their tallies man. They've missed him through the middle part of the season, and John Michael Hayden couldn't tell us anymore. He is a difference maker, and you're seeing it right now as he equalizes.
Got to play off the momentum swings. He said that's everything for us, trying to grasp it and then run with it. Get back on the ball, move them side to side, and although it's off a recirculated effort coming off the set piece, this is where this team can really hurt you. The ability to have guys like Josh Jones and Gage Guerra up top, challenging players. Guerra's just smart, drifts off the back shoulder. Lack of communication on the back line. Potmar Boy gets it wrong. He rotates too high, and he leaves the backside open. It's 2v1. Okunlola all by his lonesome, having to take down Gage Guerra and Damian Barker-John. None easier that for the 9 to get back on the score sheet.
This tournament has been wildly entertaining. Early goals, a lot of goals, drama late, and this game living up to the billing. 1-1 through the first 19 minutes as Gage Guerra gets his first goal since September. Svetnov blasts it deep. And some contact in the middle. A took a hit, and Mike Stutt's gonna have a word. Parker Forbes, sophomore from Texas. Duquesne striding forward down the left flank. Axel Alejandre, the transfer from North Carolina, defended him, goes off Alejandre's leg, and that is another corner. 5th of the match for the Tigers. They over Syracuse in the last week and change to become #1 in the ACC in corners earned game, just under 8. Played short, heavy touch, and kind of a wasted opportunity. Gibet dinks it over the goal scorer Okunlola. Is he going to give it a hit? No, puts it in back post. Opportunity. Great enough. Huge by Alex Svetnov, had a season high in saves against Pitt in that double overtime win, their opener a week ago. 9 saves, and there, huge one to get down low to his right.
That's an incredible save from Alex Svetnov. The second one to come back up to immediately reset on the set piece.
Trimnell heads it back down, and Svetnov curdles it again.
This is just so good, and one would argue that he's offside, to be fair. That's good. That's great. I mean, he can't even get up off the ground to reset his body to explode onto the second save. Gets about half a leg. That's just lower body strength right now from Alex Svetnov, who probably hasn't been given as much credit as he needs to be because of the amount of goals that have been conceded, but they haven't been his fault. He's made some truly incredible saves down the stretch. That's got to be one atop.
Adam Lundegaard on the doorstep, denied not once but twice. And Silla runs over to take the throw quick, and they hold on. There's 2 balls on the pitch. Tyler Trimnell, a goal scorer, one of the goal scorers from last match. A brace in that game, 2 goals in career start. He's having words, and Forbes having words. Trimnell, the sophomore from Lancaster, South Carolina. Foul again here, and a chance now to serve the box. And
it's actually the first foul just prior right there where Parker Forbes stepped through. Give Arthur Duquesne some credit, by the way. The French freshman who just lowers that shoulder and at only 5'9". Great little charge to push the defender off.
Ousmane Silla to take. Driven in, headed down off the post. And Bakuso clears. Clemson continues to knock at the door. And there will be a foul. Gives like a card for Forbes. Is persistent infringement there?
And you could make an argument for both, but more than likely it's going to be persistent infringement because there's a ton of contact here. He's not trying to play the ball whatsoever. All hands, and he's very close. Very, very close to being inside the box here. He just motioned. They're going to go take a look at it.
It is reviewable, yes. And this is not part of the new rules. There are experimental rules in the ACC this year, but last year, and this is across the country, you can review if a foul occurred inside or outside of the box. So Mike Stutt will go take a look, I believe. And he will just let both coaches know. And now he will take a look. And we will take a look as well.
It's definitely outside, I can tell you that. I mean, it's very close, but it's outside. Parker Forbes has to be smarter in these situations, Dallin, because to your point, number one, he just committed an infraction. Number two, you're a yard and a half outside the top of the 18. You've just gotten yourself back into this game. That would be a catastrophe if you were to make a mistake like that to have the referee point to the spot. It'll be a foul. It'll be right outside the top of the box. But as lethal as Clemson are from dead ball situation, ball strikers all over the place, right foot, left foot, and certainly the height for guys like Alex Meinhardt and Potmar Boyd. You got to be smarter in those situations.
These are the experimental rules. This is just for the ACC, a couple other conferences. This is if red cards are issued, if a penalty kick should have been issued, a denial of a goal scoring opportunity. All these things can be reviewed in different circumstances. The first two, if if the red card was issued, an ejection. As we mentioned, in years past, that penalty decision, the ball is inside or outside the fourth one there. That is across the collegiate landscape. It will be part of the NCAA tournament system going forward. The ACC experimental rules are different. Devin, do you think Silla gives us a hit, or are they trying to play this in to heads?
I would definitely like him to have a go, but just be really careful here, because Arthur Duquesne, only 1 goal on the season, but he's got a solid foot. He's wide open at the top of the 18. If you wanted to get crafty and play something cute, come square back across the top of the box.
Duquesne, 33, as I said, atop the box. Silla, 2-time first-team All-ACC player. He's been an award winner in All-ACC every year of his career, all 4. Can he break the deadlock here or serve somebody up? Goes for goal. Right to the breadbasket of Svetnov. As Svetnov walks it off, I'll tell you about the ACC Network football lineup here Saturday. It's a great one. Starts at noon Eastern. BC hosting Virginia Tech in Chestnut Hill. Then Pitt squares off against Syracuse at Yankee Stadium. Going to be a great scene there. And we cap the day with Duke taking on number 24 North Carolina. The battle for the victory bell. Duke, Carolina, 8 o'clock. All 3 games are also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. 1-1 here from historic Riggs Field. Winner of this semifinal gets North Carolina waiting in the wings. Tar Heels getting to a final for the first time since 2018. Meinhardt plays it across. Silla there, hesitates. Oh, Devin, why did he hit it with his perfect right foot? And we've got some bodies down now. And Trimnell's saying, I got the ball, I got the ball. You've got a yellow now, Alex. That they know. He can't believe it. Take a look at this great ball played across by Meinhardt, but no shot from Silla.
Here's that pressure that I was talking about, though. When you shift, you have to make sure you get it right, because you expose so much other space talent. Silla's trying to get this back on his right foot. He's 90-10 dominant, so the first touch is trying to come square back across the body. It's not a clean one. That's why he spills it. Trimnell coming back the other way. No harm, no foul. That's no ball, and 100% foul from Tyler Trimnell. He gets all player there.
So you agree the yellow card there in that situation?
Yeah, you know, he leaves the ground, he leaves his feet, doesn't make any contact with the ball whatsoever. Studs come up a little bit. He doesn't brandish the entire shoe, but it's enough right in front of the referee to certainly warrant going to the pocket for a yellow card.
Couple subs here, and attacking subs. Gage Guerra comes out. Brandon McManus comes in, the transfer from Kentucky. He's got 4 points in his last 7 matches played. He worked himself back in the starting lineup. Definitely a guy that could be an impactful player. And Ethan Subachan, 18 in black, very talented freshman coming in that can stretch defenses and cause some problems. Subachan replaces Damian Barker-John. Trimnell scoops it up, takes the foul from Bradley Sample, plays on Mike Stutton, and Axel Alejandro cleans him out. A quick restart by the Tigers here. Up to Silla. And got a Cardinal player down hard. And that's Bradley Sample. 5th-year senior. And a rarity in today's college landscape of sports. He spent all 5 years here at Louisville. He's played 88 games now. And he's in some pain. He is the stalwart in that defensive midfield position for this team since he got here.
He's just trying to step through it on the clearance, and there's a late extension coming from Arthur Duquesne. I'm surprised the referee doesn't blow the whistle here, because even from afar, you could hear clear contact, and it certainly did not sound like the ball. And you could tell it wasn't the ball the way it came off of his foot.
Well, Mike Stutz at the review monitor.
Again, watch the studs. Trying to just put force behind this, clear it. Now, to be fair, it looks a lot worse right there from Arthur Duquesne, like he's trying to step through it. If you notice, he's very slow in rotation with his left foot. He's just drifting through it to try and put a foot in front of the ball so that he doesn't allow it to clear it out of his own defensive zone. If that was a real tackle, he's coming a lot harder, I promise you that. Now, it's still a foul, 100%. No doubt about that. But it's not like he's coming in with real, like, viciousness.
But the situation here in terms of the review, and you can review disciplinary matters, usually things off the ball. To review a contact like that, typically there has to be a red card issued, and then you can take back that red card and say it's appropriate. So we're trying to get confirmation if he was reviewing that tackle. Which again, college soccer is not standard VAR. We showed you why there are certain instances where you can use it, and when it comes to a foul of that nature, a red card usually has to be issued for you to review the play and then maybe change or adjudicate it in a different manner. Alongside Devin Kerr, I'm Dallin Falk from historic Riggs Field. 1-1 between the number 4 seed Clemson and number 9 seed Louisville. This is a top 20 clash in terms of the national rankings. Winner, though, gets North Carolina in the ACC final. Sunday, noon Eastern on ESPNU. Clemson looking to get back there to the final for the 2nd straight year and avenge that loss they took to Syracuse and win their 2nd title, conference title in 4 seasons. Remy Okunlola started the scoring 7th minute of the match, the freshman from Clemson. And then Gage Garrow. Oh, we got a flick-on opportunity. Meinhardt settles it, waits, cuts it back. Zilla saves Svetnov. Still there, though. Meinhardt plays it back, top of the box. Chifamba saves Svetnov. Talk about a hot goalie in hockey all the time, what they can do for you in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Svetnov is doing that right now.
This isn't random from Alex Svetnov. I saw him back at the academy level win the Golden Glove of the 2021 USL Academy Championships, and for good reason. Again, his positioning perfect. Now, you want that ball away from a threatening area. He spills it right down the middle, but watch him reset himself to be able to go down low and make this save. If he pushes this to the side, his team can immediately clear it, so he gets that wrong. But to set himself back up for success and immediately get down to the corner. 4 on the night for Alex Svetnov in pretty spectacular fashion. And Usman Silla, by the way, that's 2 now. He's had a real good look at goal that could have easily ended up in the back of the net.
It usually doesn't take Silla that many chances. 18 goals in his career, 7 this season. He's tied for 9th in the conference with goals. But Svetnov with 6 saves already. His season high is 9. And Meinhardt's looking for another opportunity to create. Okunlola picks it up. Ran down by Quentin Elliott, and well done. Earns a goal kick, but then, yes, Mike Stuck confirms it. Get a couple subs there, and then that time we'll tell you about Saturday morning. The ACC Huddle crew kicks things off. Chapel Hill, 11 a.m. Eastern, 60-minute pregame show into BC Virginia Tech on the gridiron at noon. Then we'll also have halftime shows, pre- and post-game shows throughout the day. They're back at 6:30 to wrap up the afternoon with highlights and analysis to get you set for Duke at North Carolina at 8 o'clock after the game. Stay right here on ACC Network for a complete wrap-up with interviews, players, coaches, and analysis of the day in the ACC football. Okunlola on it, head up. Meinhardt cuts it back to his right foot, still on it. Lays it off. Gibet tried to place it and just leaned back a bit.
Mike Noonan's not going to be overly happy in the dressing room with the amount of chances this team has had in pretty close proximity. Alex Meinhardt, good job by him to just keep this alive, because many a player would have let that fly first time. Instead, you recycle it back around, but one from just at the top of the 18, two from Usman Silla. Will said that the opening goal in the 7th minute from Remy Okunlola certainly set the standard early. But this is one of those games, Dallin, where chances start to subside as the match goes on, or at least you would think, historically. The past couple of matches would tell you otherwise this year.
Past couple matches in this tournament would tell you otherwise. Silla looking for more, charging into the box. He's got Duquesne back to his left, working on Quentin Elliott. David Bacuzzo battling with Duquesne and wins that battle, headed down and kept in. Oh, Forbes went in hard on Duquesne, and Duquesne is down. Forbes is on a yellow, mind you. From distance, Svetnov off the post! Still another chance, Silla! It's finally in! Oh, they've been beaten down the door, and finally it opens. Svetnov couldn't do anything about that rebound. And Silla, the first team All-ACC guy, delivers yet again.
When they get going, they really get going, the Clemson Tigers. We saw it 10 minutes into the game. Just wave after wave of attack. Okunlola about 15 yards out, just inside the box to the bottom corner this time around. It's again the defensive structure or lack thereof off the effort that comes off the crossbar. What a strike that is. Good save, by the way. Got a little touch on Alex Svetnov. And he does set himself. But the way that this thing falls, watch Usman Silla as it pops out in midair. What a challenge that is on the 50-50 kit on the inside of David Bacuzzo. Reestablish himself and then open up his shoulders to bring this thing to the bottom corner. Near impossible, but it's routine for Usman Silla.
Konstantinos Georgalides checked in for Sonic Road, now on the ball. The shot that created that is Gael Gibert, your right-sided center back, up in midfield, cracking it from 25 yards. Clemson was just applying loads of pressure. Subachan couldn't keep it in. Louisville had it before through Gage Guerra to equalize. Can do that before the half. Clemson with that goal moves into sole possession of second place in the country in terms of goals scored. They're now at 47. They trail the fellow ACC mates Duke by 2 goals, but by the end of the night they may be even or ahead of them. We'll find out. Meinhardt with Okunlola on the overlap. Floats it in back post. Cleared out. Georgalides turns it over. So does Meinhardt. Bacuzzo picks up the loose ball. Sample. Subachan on it. One of the rare forays forward in the last 5 or 6 minutes for the Cardinals. McManus. Chabet spins out of trouble, finds the feet. Silla. Back to Gibert. Boy, out to Lundegaard. The cleanest first touch. Nice through ball, first time cross, intercepted though. Scooped up. Silla gets in line. Drags it back, cleared out by Jones.
Just look how high of a line the back line is playing for Clemson, though. It's every single time Louisville's trying to play out. All three center backs, 45, 50 yards from net. Near impossible for either one of these strikers to play the point man, get some hold up, and allow the supporting runners to come up underneath.
Jones clears off the head. Supachan couldn't control it. Lundegaard. And he's just cleared out. Unnecessary from McManus. And is this a card or just a talking to?
I'm no lip reader, but I'm pretty sure the first comment out of the referee's mouth to Brandon McManus was, "What are you doing?" Looked right at him and, "Brandon, what are you doing, man?" Always love it when the referee approaches you in such a fashion. I mean, he's not wrong.
Hey, I appreciate that. It's better just to offer it a yellow because it is completely asinine what he just did there. It didn't make any sense.
Well, that's when you get really smart and turn around to the referee and go, "I'm making a sandwich. No, ordering dinner. What are you doing?" Come on, man.
I imagine referees loved you. I'm sure you had a wholesome relationship.
We got along well. Yeah, we exchanged cards. We still do.
And that was a little different. Okalola getting end line. Has to cut it back again. Again, there's Gibert, your center back, up 20 yards from his own line, applying pressure. Okalola trying to dink it up over the top. Falls to Duquesne. Lays it off to Silla. Back to Duquesne. Back post, Okalola's there, settles. Back across again. Dinks in, and it's in! Oh, the patience pays off! It's Silla. Do that thing again. A brace for the senior. Trying to lead his team back to the ACC.
The patience exhibited on the back post run by Remy Okunlola. Your goal scorer 7 minutes in that got this party started is pretty incredible. Watch him, he's asking for it. 9 times out of 10, player goes for glory here. They try and hit it first time. Instead, just takes a touch. It's not the cleanest because it pops up on him. But he recognizes that. So all he's trying to do here on the second one is put it square back across the mixer. Let one of these big bodies we told you go get it. Instead, it's the exact opposite. It bypasses everyone except the greatness of Ousmane Silla, who basically coughs on this thing to stick it into the bottom corner for his second on the night and the third for Clemson.
When these teams played just 5 weeks ago, Hill had 2 goals in that match. Well, he's got 2 goals in this match already. And Devin, if you're John Michael Hayden and the Cardinals, you just got to want to get to halftime, and you may not. Meinhardt lays it off to Okunlola. Is he going to make it 4? Airmail. Presently, the Tigers are owning this game, but these teams have history. Back to 2014, the final. This was the final set in Cary, North Carolina. Paul Klaus scores with 6 seconds to go. They go to overtime, and then Amarkaria puts it in. 2-1 winners. Clemson's first ACC title under Mike Noonan. They got his second in 2020, looking for a chance to get his third And they're about 52 minutes away from doing that. Devin, why have Clemson just been so dominant in this game and pinned back Louisville for the vast majority of it?
You know, I told you the main issue coming in was going to be the width and whether or not you could maintain that if you were Louisville Cardinals, and they haven't been able to. So it's twofold. It's one, they don't have enough of a presence on the outside, so they start chasing. And the second part of that is as you start to rotate one way, Dallin, and you lose your shape in the midfield, you also open yourself up. And it's been a really good job performance put in so far by Elton Chifamba and Joe Njabe within the midfield for Clemson, who are just going side to side. So it's very easy. This isn't working over here. Find that pivot point coming out of the 6, coming out of the 8. Let's go the other direction. Okunlola, Duquesne doing a really good job getting down into the corner. And then it's down to the front line. It's everything they could want. Any sort of respite that they're getting playing off the back line for Louisville lasts all of 3 or 5 seconds because they don't get hold up play up top. They don't have enough support. And you've mentioned it a couple of times. This back line for Clemson is insane. 50 yards from the opposition's net. Just pin them down deep.
Popmar recovers. You just saw before number 9 in orange. That's Mohamed Say, 5th-year senior. Out there, the grad student battling with the grad student, a 5th-year senior. He's got his degree already. Young man battled through torn ACL the year they won the national championship in 2021 and still contributed to that team. Out here fighting again. Number 9 plays that number 9 right in the middle of your screen with the white shirt underneath his jersey. Valencia, Spain. It's 23 goals in his career. 5 on this season before he picked up an injury, but trying to contribute what he can. As we mentioned, this Clemson team is really deep, and they've got injured guys, Brandon Parrish and Nathan Richmond, that are all ACC players. They were just honored with that today, but they're both out. It's going forward is Meinhard. He clips in, looking for Say! And that would have been a heck of a first touch.
Cherry on top, that would have been the performance for an ages for this Clemson Tigers team. Moha, as he goes by, Mohamed Say, getting him on the field and getting him a goal. And speaking of getting him on the field, Philip Fredall, one of the guys that John Michael Hayden has been trying to work through all of these injuries that have been the walking wounded for the Louisville Cardinals. Outside back for Louisville, finally get him back. Sophomore season, loves to challenge these center spots, and that's great. But they're not looking for that right now. They're looking for some quality defending on the outside to stop the bleeding.
Well, there's Fredall's first action in there, and has a couple words to say with Silla. Fredall, the sophomore from Norway. Grew up in the first division and academy system in Norway, and making his presence felt. His first appearance of the season, Devin, in this kind of a match. Great clearance.
It also gives you an idea of where the head coach from Louisville, John Michael Hayden, and his head is just trying to find a way to get some sort of momentum swing here. He was big on that in our conversation. Again, you can talk about depth within the team, form overall in the year, but they're nowhere near this game right now. And that's unfortunate because they got a ton of talent. They also have a ton of time. You know, right around 50 minutes, and most importantly, 4 minutes to get into the dressing room, because that's what they need right now. Get into the dressing room, an extended conversation with the manager going, listen, we just took down the #1 seed. One of the best teams in the country defensively. We scored 4 against them. We're only down 2. 4 gets us a result right now. They just need to get into the dressing room, look him in the eyes, and restore some confidence.
We talked a lot about the tact. They were playing a 4-back to start the season. Hold on. Could be another opportunity. Duquesne's got numbers in the box. Lays it to Say. It just slowly coasted across the 6-yard box. Okunlola runs it down. Jackson Roble, you see right in the middle of your screen there, 23 orange. He subbed in a few moments ago. Came in from Meinhard. Answer from Wofford. There he is on the ball. Back to Jabert. Gibet. The French connection there. Lundegaard over to Duquesne, the third Frenchman in the starting 11. Gibert switches it out to Duquesne, and chest control not quite what he wanted. Axel Alejandre just plays it out in the touch. Devin, do you think a tactical switch would be needed? We talked about the different ways that Louisville's been playing. Would you expect to see something like that potentially in the second 45?
Here's the problem we run into, right? I talk about them lacking the width. Tactically, I don't mind them sticking with a 4. If you go to a 5, you can gain some of the width, but you're going to lose the depth up top and the pressure on the midfield. And you have bodies right now. They're just not in sync. They're not rotating quick enough side to side. So if you come deeper, well, then all of a sudden, you're going to get Pop Marboy, Adam Lundegaard, Gibert that we've seen come off the back line and pressure even more, which then makes you step. And now you've got more of a problem with diagonals coming. So this is a Q's team that it's kind of one of those old sayings. You're not going to stop them. You just got to try and find a way to contain. You certainly can't give up anything else.
Okay, Lola just walked by and set up Roble, but he couldn't keep down, or maybe a deflection. Duquesne! What a save, but not by the keeper, by Bryce LaBelle, the center back. And now there's a complaint for wanting a handball. And Mike Stutt does delay, but points to the spot. A lot to sort through here. Did he touch it before it went out to play, or is saying it's LaBelle off the line? And Bryce LaBelle, another one of these stalwarts, as a junior, has played now 63 games for Louisville. He started in 62 at that center back spot. So the question is, did Parker Forbes handle the ball as it was going out? Take a look.
Oh, he's in. That's a pen.
Yeah.
That is.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just, you've just mentally checked out, unfortunately. It's a terrible mistake, unfortunately, for Parker Forbes. He's in play. So is the ball. And he definitely handles it.
And this is reviewable because you can look and see if a foul or an infraction has occurred inside or outside the box. This obviously is the end line and lets you know this is inside the box. We take a look. Duquesne, great volley, and what a play by LaBelle, but then this by Forbes, just a brain freeze, if you will, from the redshirt sophomore from Texas.
Dallin credit, by the way, because the referee does look at the fourth official, or excuse me, the AR, and says, hey, did you see what I saw? Yes, and then points to the spot. Great job of coming together there.
And Mike Stutt does confirm he issued the penalty, so then you can double check. So they had us covered in terms of the rules in review. Confirm that it is in fact a penalty. And now Alex Svetnov, he's faced one penalty this year and was unsuccessful in saving it. And Mohamed Say, the grad student from Valencia, we just talked about him coming on the pitch, battling injury. He will step up and look for his 24th goal in his illustrious career here at Clemson. Saves Svetnov, and he covers the rebound. This young man is having a day. He may have just kept them alive. 8 saves on the day.
Have yourself a night, Alex Svetnov. If you're going to get back in this game, it's because of that man right there. What a save. And what a moment. And it had to be down 2. That would have been the absolute dagger. Game, set, match. This team hasn't overcome a 2-goal deficit in a decade. September of 2013. 3. Don't even know if that's in the record books, but well done by the goalkeeper.
Well, there's more coming. Okunlola charging forward. Heavy touch, though. It is cut back, and Say was almost able to get his feet sorted, but couldn't. Trickles out past the line, and mercifully for the Cards, this may end and somehow give them a little momentum, Devin, if you get a penalty stop to go into break.
You'll take anything, honestly. Again, what you want to talk tactics and personnel and effort, that's one thing, but just the understanding that hill just got a little bit smaller, Dallin. 3 goals at historic Riggs Field is game, set, match. 2, with the performance that Louisville's coming off of against the #1 seed Notre Dame. There's life. Then I promise you, Mike Noonan, he's going to talk about that's great. We got 98 wins when leading at half, but opportunities lost because whether it's the missed penalty and the 2.
Silla lays it off. Back to Silla. He's on a brace. Does he get a hat trick? No. Plays it to Duquesne. Low ball. Save. Okunlola off the line by Jones. And more from the first half continues in the second.
Told you that Ousmane Silla wants the ball at his feet. He's so dangerous, and I'm a little surprised that they don't read this initially because the ball could have come back to the outside, and instead they just stood there. So Ousmane Silla says, okay, you're going to give me the space, I'll play it. Second one back across. Okunlola thought he should have hit it first time. He's got the left foot with your instep. Just hit it first time. Don't allow the goalkeeper, Alex Fetnoff, to shift back over because he's having a career night. Instead, Josh Jones clearance off the line, and another one of the 9 lives burned.
And Okunlola upended, no call, and Gage Guerra, the goal scorer for Louisville, on the ball, trying to play it to Damian Barker-John, who's not seen any of the ball, it seems like, throughout the course of this game. 11 in black, who's got 9 goals on the campaign. Silla gets in behind Forbes, who's on a yellow. Cross in from Duquesne, popped out. Lundegaard keeps it in. Jabay just turning into some space. Clip back post, headed down. Silla! Almost a hat trick hero.
Again, Dallin, watch where this starts with just the extremely high line of pressure for the back line of the Clemson Tigers that are able to pick this ball up. They circulate it back to the outside. And again, same conversation now on the restart, although a little bit deeper on the end of it. There's a level of efficiency right now for the Clemson Tigers, especially on the back line. Adam Lundegaard, Pop Marboy, Gael Jaber, that are just, they are next level. Applying the pressure, first ball in, winning the 50-50s, constant rotation.
You mentioned career day for Alex Fetnoff. His career day is 9 saves against Pitt a week ago today in a double overtime game that got them into the quarterfinal. He's already got 8 saves, and he's got 40 minutes left to play. This has been an offensive clinic by the Tigers, who are second in the nation in goals scored now with 47, trailing only Duke. Jabay rolls it to Meinhard. Say holds it up. Devin, when you've been in situations like this, huge games, a lot on the line, and you didn't perform in the first 45, Is it up to the leadership of the guys? How do you turn this thing around from an emotional standpoint? Because Louisville still looks like they're a step slow.
It is effort, and it's the guys that you look to in the dressing room. And it sounds so prototypical, right? Like, oh, yeah, you look to your leaders, blah, blah, blah. Well, they're your leaders for a reason. And the leaders take tremendous pride in being the ones that you look to in times of adversity. I wore the captain's armband for a long period of time. And any time your back was up against the wall, they're looking for guidance. They're looking for the ability for someone to will them. Now, Dallin, you have leaders who lead by example. Now, whether captain's armband or not, they're usually the ones who step up and say, okay, I'm going to drag you with me. But they're also the guys that are the vocal ones, who maybe they aren't on the ball as much. Maybe they aren't scoring the goals, but they are quite verbal. And so they're giving you better communication. Guys, keep going. It's the positive influence. Hey, keep your head up. Let's keep going. Next 5 minutes, next 10 minutes. The problem is right now, 7 minutes into the second half, you're not really hearing a lot of that. You're seeing guys still chasing a lot of ghosts for the Louisville Cardinals, trying to figure out how to get back into this game.
And the leaders in terms of the armband is Ryan Troutman, your goalkeeper, who's injured and out in the sidelines, and then Josh Jones, your big center back, 16. But there are other guys that have been through a lot of battles here at Louisville and are being asked to step up. Philip Fredhall on the ball, the sophomore, number 12, getting his first action of the season. The Norwegian, talented young player. Big hole for Meinhardt to kind of walk into. He's got runners ahead.
They're slowly shifting in and out of it, but it's the problem is they're moving so much it's really hard to track. That's the idea here.
So when you say the idea is to go to the three back, what is the thought there, you think, from John Michael Hayden in terms of the tactical switch?
Well, you heard it. I mean, that was my argument in the first half, is you lost the width, right? You had to find a way to create some sort of presence on the outside because of so much rotation on the interior that even if you got Alejandre or Bacuzo to pop to that outside channel, they weren't getting there quick enough, and then the space vacated behind was very easy, just like that, to just step right through and you go the other direction.
Just real simple for Clemson to work it down. And Silla trying to get that hat trick, lays it off to Duquesne. And Svetnov, ninth save of the day.
Again, if you make this drop, and let's see if they end up going that direction. They're very versatile, some of the players for Louisville Cardinals, so you have the ability to jump in and out of it. But if you do come deeper, you still have to answer the question of what's right in front of you. And that's certainly the midfielders of the Clemson Tigers. So John Jabeir is going to be the constant within there, but is it going to be him? Is it going to be Elton Chifamba? Jackson Roble can rotate in there. We saw Mason Jimenez earlier.
Over the top, Guerra with an attempt, and Dama off the line. And if they actually credit Guerra with the shot, that'll be the first shot for Louisville since his goal back in the 19th minute of the match.
Really well done by the goalkeeper, though. Clever on the lift up over the top, but if Ndema stays home, wouldn't necessarily say it's going to be a free strike for Gage Guerra, but he's certainly got the lead on the freshman center back, Potmar Boy. Not a lot of players can say that they've been able to do so, but instead Ndema, quick on the draw, unable to parry it aside.
And then Lundegaard just blasted out to touch. Sonder Road, who had a hat trick in their last match against Notre Dame, has been quite quiet in this match. Defending is not his forte. Nice job by Elliott. Alejandre bodied out the ball, no call, and chance for maybe Clemson to go transition the other way. Duquesne bombing up the left. Silla just running through the middle. Lays it off to Meinhardt. Driven, saves Svetnov. ricochets back to him, and he eventually gets to it.
It is disheartening if you're a Louisville fan or player, but awe-inspiring if you wear the Clemson Tiger Orange and how quickly this team transitions, man. The patterns that they have, players coming up underneath, patience, waiting for the overlapping run to come. Give you a little bit of everything, the Clemson Tigers, and at their best, you said it, the amount of goals that they've been able to produce this season, second only to another ACC opponent that they just took down, the Duke Blue Devils.
Rode on it. He can produce something special. Did in that game against Notre Dame. He came right in off the bench. His first touch was a volley from 20 yards and found the back of the net. This tournament is really tough. I always say, ask coaches, and it's 50-50. Harder to win the ACE tournament or the NCAA tournament. Structure of a team like Louisville had to play Wednesday, had to play a couple days later on the road in Notre Dame. So you're on the road to Pitt, on the road to Notre Dame, back from Notre Dame to Louisville, train for a day, you get on a plane to Charlotte, drive a bus from Charlotte to Clemson, and you're playing. So it is a tough rhythm in the competition, and the quality of the competition. And being on the road makes it even more difficult. But we have seen it done before. Notre Dame won from the 5th seed just 2 years ago, where you have to play that first opening round game. The top 4 teams get a bye. Clemson, being the 4th seed, did get a bye. Fred Hall. Excuse me, that's Forbes. He's got Fred Hall to his right. He's got Gage Garrett to in front of him. A big switch looking for Rode. Actually gets to Elliott. LaBelle hauls it down, the center back, and then tried to continue to press a little bit. Wayward pass. Sean Smart checking in the match. We'll give you a second to check out the goals, because there have been some beauties. And it started with Remy Okunlola, the freshman, in the 7th minute. Look at this, just perfectly bent around.
Ice skates for Sonda Road. I mean, we're getting to be winter time, and it's that time of year, but this was a pretty impressive display. And then the response, Gage Garrett, almost 500 ball without him in the lineup. Back to his goal-scoring ways, his 7th on the season. But then it's the bad man known as Ousmane Sylla, all ACC twice in his career, having a career high in goals and assists. He's got 2 on the night. And Clemson cruising at halftime 3-1. If you're just joining us, though, it could have been much worse. A missed penalty by Mohamed Say would have been 4, and Ousmane Sylla had 2 arguable sitters that could have easily made it 6.
Let's credit Alex Fetnoff. He has made some pretty good saves, too. He's made 9 of them, and some of them have been tough. Sylla here in space again in the middle of the pitch. Drives it. And when you get him on his left foot, it's a little bit better for you. And Sean Smart checked in before, and now get a couple more subs. We take a look at the replay.
For Ousmane Sylla, this is going to be something that when he hits the offseason, just continue to try and cultivate that left foot. Sean Smart has certainly evolved as a player this year. One of the bench players that we talked about that tonight available for selection, not in the starting 11. That's another conversation, but heavily involved behind the scenes with some MLS squads. His speed, done a really good job, because as an outside back end, working as a wing back as well. You can also push him to the inside, but this is also a team, Dallin, don't forget, in Clemson, that coming into the season, they didn't know what they were going to look like structurally. Is it a 4-back? Is it a 3-back? Mike Noonan said that it was going to take some time to figure out what look was going to be best for them. Pretty sure they found it.
Charging through the middle is Fred Hall, but a lot of orange jerseys around him. And it took them a while to hit their stride as Sample tries to play it in. To your point, you had both the French transfers from Oregon State, Gibet and Gibert, that didn't get there till late, had to bet in. You've got some young players. You had some injuries, as we mentioned. So there were a lot of moving pieces, and this Clemson team was not – they were picked preseason to win the conference, and it took them a while to get going. But now we are seeing them kind of start to really hit their stride in the last couple weeks. They're 4-0-3 in their last 7. Their last loss was to Wake on September 22nd at Wake. It's on the road to take. Headed down and then cleared. And Clemson subbing in a number of guys. Isaiah Easley came in for Muhammad Say, the sophomore from Hawaii. Tracking down the ball right there. Guerra tries to settle. Road. Plays Barker John on the channel. Queens native trying to get it into the box. Oh, undercut hard, no call. He's been down a couple times today. Second team all ACC players, had a great run since Gage Guerra got hurt. He has stepped up. 9 goals on the season. Devin, with the final Sunday at noon, I mean, that's not a long ways off. Not that you try to, never going to stop playing or competing, obviously, but if you're Clemson, do you start to downshift at some point, if you can, just to slow it down? Maybe not here. Here they go. Cross from Smart was deflected.
If you looked at some of the subs coming onto the field, you would think that, right? But you're looking at a player in Isaiah Easley that was a starter on this front line last year. Mason Jimenez, who, although a freshman, is certainly the future of the midfield for the Clemson Tigers. And Sean Smart, who is the starter from the outside, that is just working his way back in. So Mike Noonan just slowly getting everybody a brief respite so that mentally you're still clued in. You've got the physical side. You know, there's one part of this, Dallin, that all season long you're trying to keep guys healthy, and you want to make sure they're not injured, but you're also trying to make sure that you're giving guys enough of an opportunity to progress throughout the season. Well, then you also reach a point where you got to make sure that standard is continuing to stay high. So whether you're a substitute player coming off the bench or you're a regular part of the 11, the workload, especially at this point, has to maintain a very fine balance. You got to walk that line appropriately. Mike Noonan knows that better than anybody. We saw it in 2021, as deep as that team had to go to win their national title, where they saw Mohamed Say go to the sideline and had to find a way to find other goals. And they still, whether it was on the striker side or in the midfield, found a way to keep their top-notch guys healthy down the stretch, but also the supporting players, getting them enough workload to feel like they were part of the squad. So when they came in, they were quite effective.
Quentin Elliott down right now, the sophomore from Columbus. Excuse me, from West Virginia, part of the Columbus Crew Academy. While they're tending to him, I'll tell you about a great women's volleyball match we have for you Friday. Number 10, Georgia Tech hosts number 6, Pitt at O'Keefe Gym. Coverage begins at 5 Eastern. A great environment with 2 top 10 clubs. And we talked about the injuries as Elliott's being looked at. They really need him healthy, but you know, Gage Guerra missing those 8 games. His 7th goal was tonight. He had 6 goals in the first 5 games, but then missing 8 games was huge. Konstantinos Georgalides has gotten a little burn tonight, a little time, but he's still working his way back. Josh Jones and LaBelle were in and out of the lineup at different times. They're 2 center backs. So John Michael Hayden's crew has dealt with a boatload of injuries, and those are guys that were able to play. Philip Fredhall just got back today. It's his first time playing this year. He would be a starter. Ryan Troutman would be their number 1 goalkeeper, although Svetnov's been great. Dealt with a lot this year and have weathered it. Got themselves now an NCAA tournament resume, but maybe not the performance he would have wanted out of a semifinal showing here. But they're not done, Dev. I mean, this is basically the exact minute where Louisville was up 3-0, and Notre Dame mounted their comeback with about 26 minutes to go, ended up in a 3-3 game with 2 minutes to play in the quarterfinal.
I've been in games like this. You're spot on that. Listen, 28 minutes to go. All you need is one action. You don't even need the goal. You need something that says, guys, we're still here and we're waiting for that aha moment. Now, they've certainly had a couple of those on the defensive front, but nothing really on the attacking side. The only one that really springs to mind is Gage Guerra getting in behind, but the incredible goalkeeping by Joseph Ndema was easily able to push that aside.
And it goes out for a corner, maybe a chance to capitalize. Big Josh Jones, the 6'5" center back, will trot forward. Joseph Ndema not had a lot of activity today in this game. Sonder Rhodes so dangerous with the ball at his feet from the corner. 20 assists on his career. 5th all-time in Louisville history. Driven in toward the spot. Flicked on. Easily applying pressure. Give it a hit from distance and wide. Take a look at the RPI for the conference in terms of the top 9 teams. A lot of shaking up. I mean, Louisville was in the 40s last week. That's how good the league is. You get a couple wins, how much things can change. So they feel pretty good where they're at. Pitt at 29. When you look at this, Devin, who do you like? Who do you think is most capable and equipped to make a run into the NCAA tournament, as the committee will release their bracket on Monday once everything is settled in all the conference tournaments?
I'm still going to stick with this Clemson team. I've been on it for about half a season now. You see the attack and what they're capable of. At their best, they're almost untouchable. It's a cheat code, honestly, with the amount of depth and talent that they have and how efficient they are. Side-to-side vertical threats. They just give you so many different looks. It's almost impossible to track. It's also, I know it's easy to look at the top of that graphic and see Notre Dame and think, okay, yeah, we get it. They're the top seed, blah, blah, yada, yada. They are one of the most efficient teams that I've ever seen collegiately. And we have seen some teams come across our screen and in person that have been very impressive, but just everybody bought in. You don't look at the team and go, wow, this guy's a star, that guy's a star. There are just 25 guys, 30 guys that are bought into the belief that whatever Chad Riley puts in front of them, they're going to go and do. So defensively, extremely intact, and they've also managed to score some really impressive goals along the way.
And that last game was shocking to see them down 3-0, but that grit, that belief, that toughness, they came back in the final 25 minutes, and we're about a minute and 10 seconds away from going into overtime before Josh Jones had the game winner for Louisville. But to your point, they are efficient, they're effective, they're very good defensively. That was an aberration with the 3 goals allowed. But the challenge for them is going to be if Matt Rue is not healthy too. You know, their striker, 10 goals, all ACC performer this year, first team. And if he's not healthy, which he wasn't in the last match, that really, how does that change them, Devin?
It's funny, you look at the team and you think, oh, well, they have 2 goal scorers, 10 plus. Enoento as well in that conversation, right? Where 20 plus goals, that's amazing, but they need each other in order to be successful. Enoento and the speed, how he works off the other striker. Matt Rue, a little bit more comfortable down underneath, and also Enoento on the left side combining with the winger.
Floated in, Guerra gets his head on it.
You sort of get that fire and ice, if you will, thunder and lightning, however you want to call it, because you get a speedy striker on one side, you get another guy that's scrappy. Both can handle themselves when you put the ball up top. They're not huge in the air, but they have great timing. And so you lose your strike partner. Where else do you go? Daniel Russo is an option who can play on the outside midfielder position where he's known, but he can also jump onto the front line. But I'm with you. If this team is to continue forth in the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and find a way to not only be a top 4 seed, that's going to be based on the committee's findings at the end of all this, but to push through the NCAA tournament, it's going to be with those 2 up top. I would add, by the way, we just take a look at the RPI. North Carolina, 9 coming into the night. The RPI rankings are a constant thing. If you go check out RPI Update menssoccer.blogspot.com, it is almost by the minute. North Carolina currently up to number 4 after their win.
Mike Noonan is not happy with the fact that he's getting a little extracurriculars after the play. Didn't like the call going Louisville's way. Rode to serve the box. Popmar boy wins that header, flicked on, and Duquesne on the run. Tracked by Fred Hall. I think Duquesne lost a shin pad, but he ain't gonna stop. And Fred Hall goes to ground. Leaves it off for Easley, and it goes off Svetnov and in. It is the Tigers' night. Easley with his 3rd goal of the season. The sophomore from Hawaii celebrates with his boys and just punched their ticket, most likely, to the ACC final.
Beautiful patience here on the little cutback across. An excellent positioning by the sophomore Isaiah Easley. Just as he asserts himself into the top of the box, he actually slows down and allows this to develop, and he waits. And within that pause, he allows the run to continue. That little hesitation right there, so clever by Arthur Duquesne. Could have hit it. Instead, little pump fake sends Philip Fred Hall in his resumption to play down to the ground, and then, to be fair, doesn't get all of it, Isaiah Easley. However, Alex Svetnov, his immediate reaction is going to come back. That second that ball starts to cut back over the shoulder, he's going to move to his left. Easley recognizes it, and Clemson see a light at the end of the tunnel, and that light looks to be the ACC title game.
Ball just kind of squirreled in its way underneath Svetnov's leg. And that may be punching their ticket to carry North Carolina, where the final will be Sunday, noon Eastern on ESPNU. Can't wait to be there. It will be a great scene. Clemson looks like they will be getting back there, just like they were last year, but looking for a different outcome as they fell to Syracuse 2-0. And Jackson Roble comes in for the goal scorer easily at the break. Konstantinos Georgilidis rejoined, and there's Ethan Subachan back in the match as well. Georgilidis on it. Subachan turns it. Clemson looking for more. They beat this Louisville team 4-0 back on October 6th. Trying to reestablish that 4-goal dominance in this match. And Aaron passed by Jones. ACC PM this week with Mark Packer and Taylor Tannenbaum. Thursday from Mark's basement studio in Charlotte. And Friday from Chapel Hill, 4 to 7 Eastern, right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Big women's hoops game in Charlotte tomorrow night, too. Virginia Tech taking on Iowa. 2 Final Four teams from last year, 2 top 10 teams this year. Caitlin Clark, Elizabeth Kitley. The game's on ESPN2 tomorrow night. Check it out. Early ball played in by Georgilidis. Nice move by Roble. They're in a lot of space. Shot deflects out. A Wofford transfer. Former first-team All-SoCon last year. Did not play a minute in the game against Duke, and then came on with a final penalty to ice it. You do not need to be in the match to shoot penalties in college soccer. And buried it. That is, as Bill Rafferty would say, Devin, onions!
They gonna let Mike Noonan take one next time?
Maybe. You tell me, you said he used to when he was a player. In swinging ball, looking for the head of G. Bear! And he'll claim it! The Frenchman gets his 3rd goal of the season. Scored against Louisville 5 weeks ago. Doubles down now. 5-1.
It's a rout. It's official. Clemson Tigers are putting everybody on notice. Chasing down the #1 attacking unit in the country in the Duke Blue Devils. Clemson said, yeah, we handled that last time out. Louisville, have some. Sometimes there's no magic in the cards. None tonight for Louisville. The kiss of death off the post. The beautiful header by the center back. And the masterclass performance at historic Riggs Field.
They know it'll be their final home game. They didn't know that when they played this weekend. When they beat Duke, they'd have a shot, but they needed Louisville to beat Notre Dame, the 1 seed. They did just that. The fans have turned out to support their team in their final home game in the ACC tournament, but there's no doubt, Devin, they're going to be playing some home games here in the NCAA tournament. The question is how many?
When you and I traveled to Syracuse for their match back on October 15th.
October 15th.
You know,
there you go.
I looked at you and I said, there's just something about this team, man. We had to pick 2 teams, right? You said, listen, go tell me who you think could win the ACC. And I said Notre Dame, and I said Clemson. And Notre Dame because they were efficient and, you know, kind of everybody's bought in. You know, there's just very clean in the way they go about their business. And Clemson's very different than that. It's not that they're not clean. They're just more expansive. A lot more touches on the ball. More players in and out of these tight pockets. You got Usman Silla, who rotates all over this front line. Alex Meinhard. You know, all of a sudden, Mike Noonan's run 7 different strikers on that front line tonight. And yet, against a pretty decent Louisville team that has an incredible defender in Josh Jones and can certainly lock down some spaces, they pinged him for 5. And Duke saw him do it the other night for a couple into the back of the net as well. They can do it against the best defensive units, the best attacking units. They have the ability to do it all. The question really is going to be for how long. And that's the one thing for Mike Noonan is I've seen them hit some really good levels. I've also seen some stuff that's gone. I've questioned the soccer IQs. Now, we had some of that in the Duke game. And there's not really many of those situations popping up here tonight.
Yeah, coach was looking for consistency and effort, but also in their mental approach. And, man, they've had that today, to say the least. You take a look at the bracket and how teams have got here. Clemson, or where they're going to go, I should say, with the semifinal on. North Carolina, congratulations to Carlos Zamorano and team. 3-1 victory. They move forward as the 7 seed. First time they will be in the ACC final since they lost to Louisville in 2018. The last time they won it was 2011 in Carlos Zamorano's first year, where they did the treble. They won their division, they won the tournament, and they won the NCAA tournament. Ethan Subachon on the run. Gibert's got to be careful there. It's less about taking a penalty there. It's about taking a red card, taking yourself out of the next match. If that was a denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, and Mike Stutt, the official, said it was not. Now quickly up the other way. The North Carolina team won that game on the road at Syracuse. They also beat Wake Forest, the game we did this weekend, on the road. 2 very quality wins. Syracuse, the defending ACC and national champs. As Alex Meinhard has put in a shift today. Meinhard might be having his name called and get a little liquid and some ice here as James Kelly waits to sub in for him. Mike Stutt stopping the clock now. He's trying to back up the Louisville wall and also bringing out the magic spray. I wish I would have invented that, Devin. I don't know if I'd be sitting here with you if I did.
Come on, man. I'd still be hanging out with you. I'd try to. That doesn't mean you'd hang out with me.
I'd hang out. I'd be hanging on a yacht somewhere. Silla plays it short to Gibet. Their bodies all over the floor in the 6. So Gibet had to go high, but not that high. James Kelly, sophomore from Gastonia, North Carolina, checks in. Making his 10th appearance of, 7th appearance of the season, 10th of his career. Comes in for Meinhard, former Tulsa star, American Athletic Conference first team, all-conference player, offensive player of the year. Brandon McManus, the Kentucky transfer, comes back in, and he also got carded. Sorry, he didn't come in, he got carded. A little frustration right now for the Cards. Barker John finds Georgalides. And Gibert fights off Georgalides. He goes down looking for a call, not going to get it. See the recent results here for Clemson. As we mentioned, they went to the final last year, lost to Cuse, went to the semifinal. The year before that, lost to Duke, and then won the whole thing the year prior to that. Had a lot of success in this tournament that is very difficult to even get yourself to carry to play in the final. To do it 3 times in 4 years is impressive. To win it twice in 4 years would be even more impressive because nobody's done that. Since 2017, we've had a different winner every year. Georgalides back to Bakuzo. Devin, do you think this will have a detrimental effect on Louisville? Like they were hoping to even get into the NCAA tournament. They had to win games. They get there, and you're riding high, and now you have a kind of deflating loss like that. Does that hurt them?
Well, that's the real question based upon what they've done historically and how it affects them going into postseason play. You know, Louisville has always been a team that's come right out of the gate and started extremely hot. This year is right there in that conversation. The team was unbeaten through 5 games, 4 wins and a draw, and it was the best start in school history. But they're not closing very well, at least not tonight. You know, they got the draw against Wake, they get the opening round win, and then all of a sudden they take down the #1 seed in the ACC tournament in Notre Dame. So let's not forget that. You don't want it to diminish this 5-1 performance, to diminish the work that they've done in the previous 3 games. But yeah, mentally it messes with your psyche, because now all of a sudden you're not going to be playing on Sunday. You're not playing for that title that you were just riding high on. You thought you were going to be able to, sail off into the sunset. And you're going to have to wait the better portion of a week to get back on the competitive field of play. They haven't done that in a while. Understand that in college soccer, you're averaging a game every 3.5 to 4 days, basically for 3 months straight. And then all of a sudden, you get a week off. Counter argument. John Michael Hayden's going to get a real good opportunity tactically to sit with his guys, give them an emotional, physical, and mental break, and then turn around and say, we've got a week to prepare for this opponent. Let's go look at how good we were against Notre Dame. They were pretty decent against Wake Forest as well. And let's go break down our opponent and get back to the greatness.
Opportunity here for Kelly. And Svetnov off his line, can't keep it in play. And Svetnov's down. You definitely don't want to pick up any injuries here. Sophomore from Indiana. That's the challenge. And this is what the hard part was too, is John Michael Hayden told us. Svetnov is struggling. They've been in survive and advance mode for about a month, in tournament mode of results are so critical for about 3 weeks or so, I should say. And now they get that win against Notre Dame. There was almost like a relief, like, okay, we know we're in now. But then to get up and go again, knowing you're playing for a chance to get in the ACC final, that may be easier said than done, as his team just didn't seem to have it today. And now you got to, as you point, take a break, step back. Getting beat like this may not get you a top 16 seed, though. So you may be playing in the first round, which I believe is November 17th, next Friday, for some clubs. Svetnov is struggling. This is not what you want to see. Having a career day, 10 saves, career high, season high.
Well, they're checking his head, too, on this run down to the byline. Comes over, back across. Oh, yeah, the cleat. The left foot on the follow-through right there. And James Kelly, it's inadvertent for sure, but certainly makes contact. Credit, by the way. You know, there was a really good shot just prior as he's standing over there still. Usman Silla. To step away from the game here for a second, what a young man. I mean, this kid smiles all the time, as happy as he can be, so polite. You know, he's a competitor beyond belief and is certainly going to have a professional career, but such a great individual outside the lines as well.
Still a first-team All-ACC player, checking on him. He's had a great day, too. Scored 2 goals in the match. Let's show you how we got to this point. Started with Remy Okunlola, the freshman, just 7 minutes in. Whoop! And then curl it. That is a thing of beauty.
Outside, cut back in, and then back on the right foot. Usman Silla, after the equalizer from Louisville Cardinals, plucked out of midair. Does the same here, albeit off the post and into the back of the net. And then there's a missed penalty, and you think, okay, maybe Louisville can get back into this thing. No way, no how. And then the see ya. Arthur Duquesne, the 5th from the center back, Jabert. And just like that, with 10 minutes to go, it went from bad to worse, and insult to injury for John Michael Hayden, Louisville Cardinals.
Out for ...17 shots on goal today for the Tigers, 1 for the Cards. Silla to take. And nobody home, whistle blown anyway. Svetnov stays in the match. And Louisville has gotten to the last 2 tournaments, but they want to make that next step. As you mentioned, John Michael Hayden won the title twice with Indiana. Knows what it takes to advance in this tournament, wants to get his team there and get over that hump.
Think about this as well,
Dallin. The bracket on Monday.
And what you're looking at there is certainly the early exit for Louisville, but also understand what I was going with there is also the early success. It's very easy to forget off this 5-1 and the injuries and the depth and everything that this team at one point in time, 5 games into the season, was the number 5 team in the country, 4-0-1, cruising. Gage Garris on the road. It seemed like every which way they turned, they found success. Same thing in 2022. So one of the best things that you can take away from this as a player is certainly going through those issues, working your way through them. This is also where we talked earlier about leadership. Step outside the field of play. I'm looking no further than John Michael Hayden. This is a guy who has literally seen the mountaintop, two-time national champion with Indiana. We're the same age. I can remember watching him when I was in college, playing for the Yeagley family and the Hoosiers, and just the drive and tenacity to go and work. And that was the biggest comment from John Michael Hayden coming out of the dressing room. What do you have to do differently? Work. All you got to do is compete. And sometimes when the tactics aren't working, when the goals aren't coming, and defensively you're leaking, just put your head down and work and go will yourself to a victory.
Subs coming in now for both teams, but Mike Noonan going deep into his bench, making sure everybody's rested. Enrique Montana, number 12, came back in, and he's a young man that helped that 21 team win a national championship. He's dealt with injuries last month. He stepped in. James Kelly on the ball now. You got Sandy Titus Jr. came in, 14 for Pop Marboy. Usman Silla finally checked out. Ethan Subachan trying to settle it, can't. Historic Riggs Field, top 5 in attendance in the country yet again. They will be hosting, I would say undoubtedly, an NCAA tournament game. The question is, will they be a top 16 seed? Will they be able to host more than one game? We will find out Monday when the selection show happens. But I bet, Devin, we're going to see a lot of these people in orange on Sunday in Cary, North Carolina, right, to see their team win another ACC tournament championship like they did in 2020. Nice combination play by the Cards. Played in low, and Gaetano D'Argento, full sprawl, couldn't get there.
What a year it's been in ACC soccer. Saw Duke, and everybody thought that, okay, maybe this is going to be the year. They came also close last year. Lost their #1 striker in Shaq Mohammed. Lost Peter Stroud in the midfield. Well, it's Elliot Hamill in goal. They were kind of up and down at times. I mean, really, we've seen that from everybody, right? So it's been Duke. We just talked about it for Louisville and Clemson. The reigning national champion, Syracuse Orange, are bounced out as well tonight from UNC. They don't have the All-American goal scorers. They can certainly defend really well. They've leaked things at times. Again, it really is a testament to the quality of play throughout the league, because there's no real front runners, but you also can't turn around and say, well, those teams really struggled, right? That's the quality of this conference. You know, the top 9 teams coming in out of the top 12, their opponent strength of schedule is 11. It's only 24 when you include all 12. I mean, it's astounding what these guys go through each and every match.
It really is. And Will Kane picks up the card, the freshman from England. 7th appearance in the campaign. Jeez. He was complaining about that?
Well, you wonder, that's a man's tackle, and that's a young man from Hartlepool, England. He's just saying, look, that's a walk in the park on the Sunday with my mates.
Man. I like the Clemson fans giving the "I believe that we will win" chant. Always gets me hyped up. But we'll be honest, though. I don't believe it, fan. They will win. They are moving forward to the final here in 4 minutes and 15 seconds. Oh, nice ball played forward, but he's like, excuse me, but Kelly straight offside. Subachan charging forward. Subachan lays it off to Jorgalitas. He can't get there. Robel tracks it down. And jeez. McManus in with the heavy challenge. Or D'Argento, excuse me. And guys got to be careful. You do not want to be picking up yellows or reds. As you mentioned Syracuse before, Devin. Giorgio Krzyzewski did that in Syracuse's game. He will not be eligible in their next match after the red card. So the leader in assists in the conference, a co-midfielder of the year, Krzyzewski, not available for Ian McIntyre's team when they play in that opener of the NCAA tournament.
It'd be one thing if you had a striker that you could rely on, a Syracuse squad, but unfortunately that just hasn't been the case. Like we saw last year, 2 All-Americans, Levante Johnson and Nathaniel Poku, en route to the national title. So, you know, the idea is probably bring Lorenzo Baselli deeper, but who knows? The one thing I will say about that Syracuse team, and you're right, don't pick up silly cards. I'm not saying that Krzyzewski was trying to make a mistake in that fashion, but
no,
the roles seem less defined for players this year, meaning more versatile. So Noah Singleman can play right wing back, left wing back, central mid. We've seen Krzyzewski deep, we've seen him high. Usually he's atop the spear. Baselli's been involved. You know, Kalukian is certainly the mainstay at the 9 spot, but even Nate Edwards, both wing-back positions. Josh Ballou's in the midfield, he's deep. Again, just the level of talent overall for so many of these teams and the depth at which you can go and grasp it. You know, Usman Silla, front line, midfield. Even Elton Chifamba, by the way, who we didn't really get to tonight because of how good this attacking unit was. I know we're jumping a little bit with 90 seconds to go, but up 4, you can understand why. A midfield that flattens itself out, that still has the ability to go side to side. Elton Chifamba, so used to playing as the lone 6 in a 4-3-3 deep lying facilitator that just ushers things back and forth. What a ball.
Kelly, oh, right to Svetinov's big mitt. 11th save of the day. Kelly can't believe he couldn't capitalize that opportunity. He's yet to score a goal in his Clemson career, and that one was on a platter.
And again, a guy that, Elton Chifamba, you operate back to the field, just trying to find a way to get link-up play to all of a sudden you're 20, 25 yards from the opponent's net working off that front line. That's what Mike Noonan was talking about, that I'm not really sure what we're going to be. I know we're going to be good. I just don't know what it looks like. Well, with 30 seconds to go in the ACC semifinal, a 5 spot against the Louisville squad that just took down the #1 seed in Notre Dame. He's got to feel really good about his chances in the ACC championship, as well as moving forward in the NCAA tourney. But I promise you, it's not just going to be about, hey, let's go win an ACC title. This team's got momentum, they've got belief, and the vision that they can put another star above their crest, just like 2021, moving to the top 16, top 4, and beyond. What a performance by the Clemson Tigers.
5-1 is the final. The last time Louisville allowed